welcome everybody. I'm so happy to see everybody since I missed our last meeting. Housekeeping items. You might know that we have a volunteer opportunity coming up next month with the same charity we volunteered last year, Women Giving Back in Sterling. So please check it out. The information, I believe Beatrice sent it out, but it's also on our website, IBWCircle.com under events. You do need to sign up if you plan on coming. They do require that information at Women Giving Back. And additional information is there as well if you have questions as to the charity. I believe we're starting around 12 or 12:30.
It's very fun.
We'll have a short lunch and then volunteer until I think 4 p.m. like we did, and it's about, we helped sort clothing and whatever they needed in the warehouse for them. So that's coming up next month instead of a happy hour, unfortunately. But we're always happy to volunteer. That is really, as Daniela so nicely explained who we are and what we do. Part of what we also want to do is giving back to the community, being part of the community. And that's just one of the things we do. We have volunteered at Soup Kitchen before and in other charities. So, these are just the things that we try to do to help in our community. I'd like to introduce Carola this morning, who was kind enough to do a keynote address and tell us a little bit for those who don't know yet, and maybe more detail about herself and about her business. So Carola.
My name is Carola Salinas, and I'm an agent with State Farm Insurance, the #1 auto insurance company in the country, and also known as like a good neighbor. Carola is there. I do insurance, but when the email came about being a speaker today, I hesitated, but I wanted to challenge myself. I haven't done this speaking stuff in a very, very, very long time. So I was scared to death to sign up and say like, yes, it'll be me. But because of the kind of group this is, because of who we are, and because I know these ladies, and whoever comes to this group, I'm sure it has been invited by one of us, or knows this group because of one of us, and I feel safe. I feel like Daniela said, I was like, you're stealing my introduction. Because this is where I found not only a very big boost to my business, thanks to Carmencita, and it's a little story. But if I start with stories and stories, I will never end. Like any, I guess, international woman, right? Because when we come from other countries, we come full of stories to tell of who we are, who we're not. So I'm very, very grateful, very happy to be here, and so bear with me and get me in place if I go to side stories. But I am from Bolivia also, and that's why the connection was immediate, even on a Zoom in the middle of a pandemic where this group started. And we just saw our introduction, and she called me after that, and she said like, hey, you're from Bolivia, blah, 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 blah. And the rest is history. How many years? I think it's 5 already. Very, very grateful. Came from Bolivia 25 years ago with my husband, my 3 kids, 1, 7, and 9. Almost all of you know a lot of details about how I came to from Bolivia. So I'm going to be very brief on that part, because I wanted more of, because I am coming out from a major surgery, says the doctor. I don't believe him. It was that major, but because I feel great now. But I'm back in business, and I'm back to life. I am just happy and very, you put things in perspective when things happen to you, right? So I am also, so when I decided to talk, I'm like, I'm gonna talk about, Beatrice says, talk about you, about your personality, about how you came to America, and then a little bit of the business, of course. And I made a very self-study of myself. How am I, right? Like, I don't even know. we don't stop very often to see who we are, and how do we present to people. Is it actually what we are or what we say. So I made a list of things that I love about myself, traits of my personality, and things that need a lot of work, right? And on the good side, I want to say, and I think the ones who know me will say, I'm very passionate. I am very optimistic. I am determined. I am very disciplined for the most part. Some of the things get into not much. I am very competitive and ambitious. And the things that need improvement a lot, coincidentally, are almost the same things of the things that I found about my personality, and the things about the things I love about me are just the same, just an exaggeration of it. So I am very committed, I am very determined, but I am also very stubborn. And that gets in the way of lots of things, family, husband, and kids, and parents, and everybody. I am also very competitive and ambitious, but I've been told, especially with my husband and my kids, that I am a workaholic. I love what I do. That goes with the passion, and I am passionate about insurance. To me, it's the most fascinating subject ever, and I can talk forever and give you a lot of tips and all of that. But because of that, it also interferes on my, and the whole thing about being optimistic and go-getter and ambitious and competitive, I'm very rigid too, and very judgmental, especially with myself. I never think I do enough. And that's how I became workaholic. And it goes to my heritage too, like when you are growing up, when you're like, you're not enough. I'm the middle child of a boy, the first grandson, the first grandchild, the first ever, and a boy. And back in there 55 years ago, it was, and then a girl. Yeah, you're going to learn how to cook very soon, don't worry. Yeah. And also listening a lot about Raul's my brother's name. Raul is so intelligent. Raul is, he's thriving, right? And Carola, she likes to study. Oh yeah, so she needs to study because she's no, right? But so that the whole just grew and grew in my mind. So that's why I'm very, I guess, very rigid, very, very, I just ask so much from myself, so much. But in all, that's all, that it's in me. And it needs improvement, but it just there's no much regrets, because all of that took me where I am. And I am, even to become in that passion, and that, I guess, that I give it all when I go for something. I gave it all to State Farm, because I started when I came to this country, like most of you probably know, not most, but some of you came, with all those accolades already. I know you. But I started to clean houses, and then I was a nanny because they will let me bring my kid. Didn't know how to say hello in English, so that was another. But when I was a kid, I was playing. I used to play a lot talking in English, just with my games, and say like, so the love for the language, just the fact that I can communicate in this language, to me is huge. Maybe more than for somebody else, because I used to play so much talking in English. But I did it, and now it's a reality. When I was a nanny, I went to Nova to the ESL, and just the grammar, writing, reading, and understanding a lot more. How to express yourself and all of that. But and when I graduated, I even wanted to take the next class, which is accent reduction. And
there's such a thing?
There is such a thing, believe it or not. And I wanted to take it, but of course, a mother of 3, full-time working, and yes, it's just one more thing. So now when I introduce myself, I say, and I am from Bolivia, and that's why, this beautiful accent that I can't get rid of, and I don't think I will. I am proud that I have it. I wish I could lose it a little bit more. I ask my kids all the time to, like, how do you say it? How do you say it? Because sometimes, like, there are words that if you don't say the full E, you think you're talking about the linen, but you're talking about sheets, and shit is like, you don't know how the E has to go to to mean what you want to say. But anyway, so all of that, became a nanny. I was cleaning houses, worked as a nanny because they let me bring my kid, and then worked for my sister because my sister insisted, now that you have English, that now blah, 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 you need to work in an office. You're more than blah, blah, blah. Not that, any job is less than that, but she said, you're qualified. You have to. So worked for my sister as a front desk in her office, just answering phones, and that helped me a lot because you don't know English until you answer phones on a customer service, and you have to understand those accents and those. You think you have an accent. Oh no. In here they have accents, and it's very hard to get it, but that helped me a lot. And then she was a realtor, so my hat is off to the realtors who work on weekends. So I did, open houses and stuff, so I didn't want to become a realtor. I became a loan officer and started to network and went to BNIs, and that's BNI chambers, lead shares, everything. And that's where I met Beatrice years ago. And we were together in a lead share. From there, loan officer, I made it, right? Oh my goodness, bought my townhouse, sold my townhouse, bought my house, American dream and all. And then the market crashed all the way down again, lost my house, lost everything. Now, how do you start from zero again? And my kids by then, one of them was already in Virginia Tech, and the other one was about to go. So it's like, okay, what do you do? One of my loan officers, co-workers said to me, Carola, you're very good with people. Carola, you like to help your community. What about insurance? Like, what is that? All I knew about insurance is that I bought life insurance when I came to this country. I didn't even have a car yet, but I bought life insurance because the concept, we don't have that concept. I think now they have a little bit in Bolivia, but back then, nobody talked about insurance. No car insurance, no life insurance, none of that. And my sister said, we're doing life insurance. I'm like, so I mean, if in that $4.95, something's gonna happen to me, I'm sure, and my kids are gonna be, secured or have a future or have actually the possibility to go to college even without me. This is it. So that's all I knew about insurance, that I bought my life insurance back then. And went interview with his friend. She wasn't hiring, but she called somebody who was hiring and who actually was opening her own agency. And that's another very big thing in my heart, that the fact that I am a State Farm agent, you don't buy this business. You can't buy a book of business at State Farm. We're exclusive. You don't inherit it. Like if I die, my kids don't get it. Also, my middle son is a State Farm agent, so he's got his own. But you don't leave it to, the book of business is State Farm's. So you qualify for it. So you don't open it even for a scratch. You can't just say, I'm going to be a State Farm agent tomorrow, and I'm going to start my business from zero, and I'm going to start networking, and I'm going to start growing this business. You don't. You qualify for it. And it's a very, very hard process to go through, not only because they want somebody who aligns with their mission, right? Which is not just sell you the cheapest thing, but be there when you need it. Yes, there's flows everywhere and blah, blah, but be there when you need it. Be that comprehensive person, not just the computer or the machine who's saying like, just pay me the premium and this is your lowest and God help you, because we're not going to. So it is a very complete different thing, and they ask us to do a business plan, a market analysis, blah, blah, blah. And look at me, this poor Carola, who, was so happy that I can talk in English, but how am I gonna do a business plan and a whole of all of these things. So a lot of many nights of not sleeping and stressing so much because I had the pre-interview, the next interview, and the next interview with the 7-8 higher ups, from corporate, asking me pieces and pieces and pieces. How are you going to do this and what? And let me show you this. At the same time, studying for my licenses, because you have to be licensed in the state of where you sell insurance. So, and it has to be both 2 licenses at least, which is the property and casualty for auto, home, and stuff, and life and health for the rest of the products that we offer, especially because at State Farm we have a little more than 100 products, different products. So it's not auto and home insurance, it's 100, a little bit, 105. And after that, now we are very big on on the financial arena, because we are planning for the next 100 years being in business. We just turned 103 this year. In June it's gonna be. And our business plan as a corporate, it is for the next 100 years. So we know that with all these automatic cars and this and that, blah, 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 we cannot just rely on auto insurance or home insurance, because then again, this is just giving you a little info of why your premiums went up. Whoever your company is, it will go up, and it went up, hopefully just a little bit, but it is catching up with the amount of accidents, the amount of storms, and the severity of them. So for that financial arena where we are getting more and more into, I had to get licenses for securities too. So that is one of the biggest accomplishments I've made in my life, because if anybody knows a little bit about securities, to be a financial advisor, you have to have the 6, the 63, the SIA, the 6, the 63, and now the 65. Having those in your record, in your resume, it's really a card for, like, I won't be unemployed ever in my life. But it took the life out of me to pass, especially the last one. It's a 4.5-hour test, and it took me 3 times. So talking about me determined, I was going to pass that test, but it took me 1.5 years to do it. And I am very proud, and it gives me even chills when I talk about that, because of, in my territory and for State Farm, out of all the agents, 3 of them passed. One is my son, me, and another one. They're still working on it. And these people are graduated from college in America, born in America. So I'm very proud. I did it last year. And these ladies know, because when we went to your mom's house, and my work was really studying with all this. It's another language. All the things that you have to learn, it's just another language. And it was just so hard for me because of that too, new terms. Because usually you learn the English, in fact, and you know a lot, but it is really under your profession, under, where you develop, you're there all day, all the terms about it, right? But if I want to talk about design, web design, I'm gonna have like, and what was that? And what was that? Because I never heard that word, in her business. So that's why for me this was like super proud. I don't know how much time I have, but I wanted to give some just statistics about insurance too. And of course I can give you 1.5 million stories about me too. And more of my personality and the things that I am working on, especially, because I forgot a very important one that I wrote down. Moody. In the ones, I think that's about age. I don't think I was like that before. But nowadays, I don't know if it's the pollen or, the politics or government, what is it? But I never felt as bouncing, like one day I feel that, I can conquer the world, I'm gonna be fine, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna hire 3 more people and I'm gonna grow and I'm gonna be the number 1, whatever. And the next day I'm like, oh gosh, everything goes, I'm fat, I'm old, I'm fair. O sea, you know, like I can't get up. What is it? And so it's menopause, I know, but that's what I thought. But then, so my friend told me about that, because she said, I'm like, wait, I had my menopause at 47, I'm 55 now, so that cannot be. And she said, well, maybe your period stopped, but your menopause is now. Were you moody back there? No, I was just the same. I was the whole Carola went 100 miles per hour all the time. But now, like, oh gosh, I have to leave from a party around 11 or 11:30 because I'm dead. No, that's not me. I still have to, you know, dance and drink. But in that, I feel that is the thing that I am working more about, because it needs to get under control, right? Poor husband of me for 36 years and 2 days. So you know that I am married for that long. He's like, yeah, I know. And on top of that, the whole surgery and the whole, you know, I'm not myself, I cannot laugh, I cannot do this, I cannot move. Oh boy, it got me very, very, very hard. That's why I'm very, very happy and grateful to be here and at least practice a little bit more of, you know, what I am. I am the one who goes, you know, and gets things done. So going back to the facts that I wanted to give you, just, and you probably know this because you hear this in the news and stuff, but 87% of the population in America have insurance. The other 13 no. So that's how we are driving out there, exposed to the ones who don't have insurance. That's why it's so important to have an agent and look at your things, and are you covered in case one of them is not, you know, hits you or something. So that to me is a very eye-opening fact, but not the biggest. On the home insurance claims, obviously, you know, like the biggest claims and the more the frequency and the more claims that we have is because of weather related things, hail, wind, and all of those things. And many companies right now are really, like, especially in other states, we're still okay, but there are some zip codes around, you know, Maryland and stuff like that. Companies are pulling out all the time because there's not profitable. It's just too many of them. And now the cost of replacing a roof or replacing even a windshield, it used to be $500 the most. Now it starts at $2,000, depending on the vehicle that you have. So we can't triple your premium, but we are paying triple for everything, not only on the physical stuff, but also on the medical stuff. So another interesting fact is that 90% of the store-related claims are related to flooding, but maybe 2% of the population have flooding insurance, and your homeowners doesn't cover that. So we are not in an area that is high on those things, and now more and more loan officers, realtors are, you know, like they require, if you're in this zone, they require if this, but it is something to look into, just because of the possibilities that you know, it could be some very, very, very bad thing. And then out of those, you know, 13% of the population don't have insurance, but in America, there's an accident. How often do you think there's a car accident?
Daily.
14 seconds.
5 seconds.
5 seconds.
Wow.
1 every 5 seconds. 5 seconds.
3 every 1 minute.
What about, out of those accidents, how many deaths a day do you think there is?
How many what?
Deaths.
2.
Accidents with fatalities, with people dead in
1
there.
over 3?
3.
3 over 3?
Like 3 people a day are dying as a result, and this is just in Virginia.
Oh my God.
This is just in Virginia, as a result of a car accident.
Biggest cause of death.
Yes. So
Is
we
it
are.
the biggest?
Is
there a? Do you know?
I don't know if it's the biggest, but I know it is up there. Like if it's not the first or the second, something like that, it's 3. And can you believe that there's 13% out there without insurance and your loved one is dead in there and they don't have insurance?
Okay, I'm gonna walk home to Leesburg. I'll leave the car.
Well, I mean, not to scare you, but those are the statistics, and that is the important. I'm just trying to get a point where it is important to know what you have in your insurance, not that you have insurance, because the biggest that I get is like, oh, but I have full coverage or liability. I'll tell you this: the only difference between full cover and liability is that if you have full cover on your vehicle, we're going to pay the repairs or the replacement of that vehicle. If you have liability, we're not going to touch your vehicle. But in both cases, we're going to pay for the damage you caused to the others, which is the liability portion on both cases. And that is going to be only up to your limits. In Virginia, the limits required by DMV to have for that is $50,000, $100,000, $25,000, which means $50,000 per person per accident, $100,000 total, and they just increased that this January. It was 30, 60, 25, $30,000. You hit me, my Forerunner, which it costs more than that. But anyway, so now it's 50,000, 125. But if you do have full covered with the minimum limits, and you hit somebody and you hurt somebody, you're not going to be okay with $50,000. It's not going to be enough. Or if somebody hits you and they do have $50,000, it's not enough, because you're going to be lifted in a helicopter to there and unconscious and whatever. And if you're one of the ones who wasn't lucky and didn't have and had the number up there already for today in a car accident, one of those 3, what's going to happen with your house? What's going to happen with your assets? I'm going to go and I'm going to take it all from you. Your paycheck to the end of you if something happens to my loved one, right? And you don't have enough insurance. So, not to scare you again, but it is a subject to talk. It is important. It's one of the things that when I started insurance, I think I am a seller, right? I sell things. I sell since I was 12 books on the plaza, right? But for me, insurance business is really the best of both worlds. I'm gonna sell you things, but I'm gonna sell you things that you need based on your needs. I'm not selling you, the vacuum that is going to vacuum the flies and none of that. I'm gonna sell you something that you need, that you're gonna feel better sleeping that night that you have it. And then of course, with that, I'm gonna pay my bills too, so it's a win-win situation. And I like to help. I love to sit down with somebody and say, like, this is what you have, this is what you need, this is the gap, this is what you should have. I understand budget, obviously, we all want to have the Cadillac, and I want $1 million in liability, but maybe I can't afford, but I can work with that a little bit more just to have that piece. And there's factors for everything. And because of all of that, another statistic is that 52% of Americans say they have life insurance, but they are not sure where is it, who do they have with, how much do they have it, and it's not enough for sure, because it's a policy maybe through work. When I hear the word, I have life insurance through work, I'm like, good thing, honey. Do you know, and this is shocking, do you know how many of life insurance policies through work are actually paid if you die?
How can they not pay it? Yeah.
Okay, good question, but just say maybe 20% are paid.
I have heard that some of them, the employer is the insured, so like the money, you die and the money goes to the employer.
That too, but it is 2%.
Too.
Oh, wow.
2% of life insurance through work is actually paid to the beneficiary. And the reason why, like Nikki asked, is because nobody knows where it is, not even the employer, because you started to work in that company, I don't know how long ago, you sign up the paperwork, Just because you were hired, yes, and I have all the benefits, yes. Your employer has some group life somewhere, because you didn't qualify for that, you didn't go through exams, you did nothing. It cost nothing, pretty much, but it costs nothing because it's not going to pay. And then you die, and do you think your loved one is going to go to corporate so and so and so and say like, oh, but you know, he said he had life insurance? Yeah, but it's not your company giving you that policy. It's through some other insurance company. We don't know if it's still in business or not. So when they say, I have it through work, I get very scared because it's not. Plus, the ones who are paid, like that 2% that is actually paid, it could take 3 to 6 months to get that money, because the trámites, like the paperwork that you have to go through and just find out who they are, and to prove, not to mention that some of them you can encounter that yes, we do have it, it's here, but you're not the beneficiary. It's actually the employer, because now they have to find another. So you're on your own, I'm sorry. Or the fact that, but it had these conditions. You were not at work when you died. It was a result of this, and because somebody could be, somebody hit you and you died, oh, well, that's not covered because the other one has to pay for your death. There are so many little things that need to be read.
Always they are going to try to avoid it. Always they are going to try to avoid
it. Exactly. With us, life insurance we paid in 3 days. So we actually talk with the funeral home, and we take care of the funeral home, and the rest goes to you, whatever that is. I just need the certificate of death certificate. And obviously, because it's with us, we are like all the time reviewing beneficiaries, making sure, because I had that one claim, and this is my first year as an agent, $1 million policy, and somebody calls and says like, oh, my so-and-so passed away, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like, oh my God. I mean, it's very emotional too, this is not just a product. You're talking about the life of people, right? And turns out that the beneficiary was still the ex-wife. The man died of cancer. This lady, the new wife, for 20 years was taking care of him. And can you believe that she was not the beneficiary? So there was a big issue in there because she was not the beneficiary in paper. So I do the reviews all the time, because things change, like I have the kids, but now I have this other kid, and the other kid is not there, and you have no idea when it comes to money. Oh, there is not so many friendly relationship, especially between family. So that is very important too. Somebody who will be watching for those things. And life insurance, of course, my passion. One of my babies in my office is life insurance. I even have my little t-shirt that says, out of the book, The 5 Language of Love. Mm-hmm. So my shirt says, my language of love is life insurance. It's my way to say I love you. And life insurance, probably most of you know, is the only money you're going to pass through to your beneficiaries without paying taxes for the most part. So it's just not a peace of mind. It could be just that, and some people, that's all they need. But it has so many different types that really can benefit you. It's a living tool to do your finances too. Just another piece to put in the past. Do you have any questions? I've been talking for, I think, too long. Yes.
Life insurance, I'm sure is super important, but it's very easy. It's not that difficult that people think, and the older we go, it's more difficult. How you can change, because I have a policy with State Farm. What is the process if I want to increase my life insurance? How much is the cost? What is the process?
the process I'm going to tell you, because the cost I can't. That goes with a lot of other factors like your health, your age, the whole thing. But the process, if you already have one life insurance, for the most part, if somebody comes to me and say like, yeah, but I do have this one that I got it, I don't know where, and I don't know if it's enough. So we do have like the full appointment to make sure that what you have, obviously at this point, is probably not going to be enough, like you said. So you can, if it's a term policy, you can even convert that policy into a permanent one and make it bigger, just to do both work for you, like a death benefit and a living benefit. Or you can just get a new one. In most of the cases, if it's a policy that it was a term and you got it years ago, my advice pretty much always, unless it's a company that I know, I call them pajaritos insurance, please don't do that. My advice is always going to be keep that one. And if you want to start a new one or whatever, because policies are really not something that you can, unless it's a universal and it has all these whistles when you started the policy that you can increase benefit. But usually if it's a set the amount. So if you want to start a new one, you have to start a new one and just keep that one, because that one probably is very inexpensive. And I don't know how long do you have, but if you still have it and you want to convert it, you can do it, because you don't have to do it. The biggest benefit of converting a policy that you already have with the same company, usually, I don't know for other companies, but I know for State Farm, is that you keep your insurability, and that is and that's why when you don't have enough budget to get a permanent one from the beginning, or get something, because at least you're insuring your health, right? Because if later you develop this or that, and you're not insurable anymore, at least you can convert that policy. And that's the reason why I do a lot of policies for kids. For kids, the Americans born in here, the kid is born 2 weeks and they're calling for life insurance on the kid. And not a little one, just 100,000, 250,000. I have a one for 500,000 that I have to fight with State Farm because they don't want to give it, because financially it's really not going to be good for State Farm, because if that policy is fully paid in 20 years, that policy keeps growing. So for us, and the kid is still a kid, it's just money going out. But it's available, and why not? It's a tool. That's how my own clients, they ask me, and how do they, because they have this house, they have this other thing, it's fully paid. Well, Americans, they transfer wealth without taxes through life insurance.
Yes.
And they do get these policies, and when they transfer the money, the little grandpa is gone, the money is left for the kids and for the grandkids, and they all start the same thing, and they do it that way. As immigrants, we don't know, because we are thinking, oh, that's too much money. How many times do you think I get the answer of, oh, I don't have money, I don't have budget for that? But of course we can travel because life is too short. Hey, life is too short, and you don't have insurance, and the life is too short, But it is very, very hard, especially in the Latin community, to get the concept of this could change your life. This is a game changing, but it's hard.
What is the maximum age that you can get insurance?
We actually have policies even at 81, 82, but it is a very small amount, and it's very expensive, but I get it.
To bury somebody
Yes.
is 81? Because
Yes.
I saw in Omaha 85, and that is on the TV all the time. Omaha, you can get insurance in 85. I was looking for somebody of 87.
Yeah, no. The biggest one, the oldest one I get is 81. That's why I know that 81 is possible, but we don't get that many because it's very expensive. Very expensive. It's almost like, like if you're gonna get all this money in a policy, maybe at this age, put that in the bank, maybe, I don't know, but it's very tough when they're over 80. But until 80, we do have one that they don't even, it's guaranteed issued. So for those older ones, they don't have to even go through underwriting. It's just, and it doesn't matter their health. It's a very good one to have.
you.